welcome to the channel, The Faith Walker.
Finally got us.
We're here.
Sorry about that, everyone.
We're here.
We're still rolling.
The wind got us a little bit.
So, I apologize for getting emotional because this testimony is so deep that I am who I am today because of that young lady or that angel. Because when God has a purpose for you, He will find you wherever you are. All you got to do is open your heart.
Amen.
That's it. Open it, and you will come through. Now, that picture of my mom I never had because she was never in my life. I got so angry at him because of what my mom was not in my life, so I lashed out on him, and I felt bad. But I held on to that picture. I didn't rip it because that was my mom. I wanted to, because when I reached out when I needed her the most, to me, she gave up. That was my mindset then. But then I realized now it was all a plan. I mean, everything in our lives there's a plan. God has a plan. There's a blessing in good and bad.
Right.
There's a blessing in the good and bad. Because in the bad things, God is working around you. He's moving around you to get you where you need to be in life. Because He's known us since the womb. He created us. Okay? We have a purpose. The enemy knows we have a purpose, and he will do everything in his power to destroy you so you won't achieve that purpose. Okay? And that's look at my testimony. My dad being a warlock, I was literally sacrificed into that, and then coming out of that by a divine appointment. God will do it. He will do it. Now, as soon as I was done with the court battle, it was amazing. I agreed on the 2 years mandatory. Okay? I go to jail. Guess what? As soon as I go to jail, a program shows up besides what my lawyer brought up. The Lord had to break me down and build me back up. How He did this? There was a state prison program, military. It was a 6-month program. Ended up being a whole year. Okay? Because everybody was dropping. They weren't making it.
Right.
So the program was like resetting. It's like, oh man, we need a certain amount in order for us to get funded. So to keep the program going. So the same ones that started like me and that were there for 2 years or more stayed in the program just to keep the program going to get funded. Now guess what? While I was there, I was being broken down by Marines, military people. I never knew such discipline.
Right.
Never knew such a, I mean, I will size you up. Let's do it right now. Let's go into that bedroom and let's get it in. Look, I'm shaking. Because I remember the fear of when that happened to me. We were going into that room, and whoever was standing was the one walking out. You were either knocked out or just beaten to blitz, and then you gotta lie and say, "Oh, it was the weights. It hit me on my." Yeah, you heard what I said? It was the weights, or I fell, or I tripped. Because you can't snitch on people in jail. Because it ain't gonna go right for those 2 years or whatever amount of time you got left up in there. So I had to lie, and they were like, "Oh yeah, really?" I said, "Yeah, man. I was doing weights and it hit me, and it was crazy." But what I noticed in jail is like everybody is set to themselves. You got the whites, you got the blacks, you got the Hispanics, you got the Asians. They're all divided, and they're all there for one purpose: is to get something out of you. And if they can't get something out of you, there's no friendship. Right. It's business wise. That's all it is when you're in jail. It's all business. Okay? Until you find Jesus lovers up in there, but even then they use that to cover up. Okay? Because I did it. I'm not gonna lie. I needed friends, and guess what I did? Oh man, these guys don't want to be my friend. They just want business from me. Oh, prayer group over there. Hey, we got extra time to get out. to go pray. Guess what I did? I'm gonna go over and do this. I'm gonna go and pray with them and learn about a little more about Jesus, right? Well, I ended up when that happened, that program came around. That's where this program comes around. When I was trying to get into the Jesus guys and find their little disciples, hey, I found Jesus, man. That young lady, I want to know more. So I talked to those guys. They would do prayer, Bible study, and they would get out early, certain hours, and we would pray for the whole area that we were in jail, and we'll pray outside for everybody in the place. And you could hear the demons through those cells, man, that did not want to hear the word.
Absolutely.
They will bang on that door, boom, and it will echo through it, boom. And here comes the COs running. They'll drag them off. It was eating. And it was strong. So I signed up to go to this military program. I get out of that place. We go to what we call a farm. This farm is a place that you're not in cell. You're in RV homes. They're all together RV homes. So your side of the room is that one, and my side is this side. And there's a lake like this, similar to this. There was a lake. We were able to in the program. We were able to go in the water, swim, and do all these regimes that test. It was like tests that the military will do to help with drowning. We did CPR. It was amazing. The program was awesome. I learned how to CPR. I know how to help somebody like a lifeguard to help somebody if they were drowning. How to pull them from their shirts. How to with your pants. You tie your pants at the end over here in the bottom, both sides. And if you're in the water, what you do if you're floating, you tie the ends of your pants and you push them down, and you get air inside of the pants and you hug it, and that right there will keep you afloat.
Okay.
We learned that from these military guys. It was amazing. And I was being broken down in the military because you couldn't tell me what to do. These guys were screaming in your face right here.
Right.
Ah! And I'm like, get out of my damn face. And they would be like, boom. They would punch me in my stomach and I would hit the floor and I couldn't say nothing about it. You either shape up, you want another whooping, you're gonna get it, and you ain't gonna do nothing about it. And I'm like, whoa, this is where I'm at? That was the Lord. The Lord had to break me down. He had to take that old lifestyle of mine that I didn't care about you, nothing. It's me against the world. Just me against the world.
Right.
And they broke me down and they built me back up. They found my goods and bads in me, and what I can do, what I'm good at, etc. I was good at drawing, and so we drew before our graduation. We drew something really big that represented us in the middle of the gym. It was beautiful what we did because they had an artist that came over and just had us, look at what we can do, what kind of art we can do. That way it'll come out to how they wanted it to come out. So they just had whoever could draw put a piece of themselves there. So I put my drawing in there, to represent myself and my family and the crew that stayed at that time. Because like I said, not many made it. It was a 6-month program, ended up being a year because people will come and they will leave. They couldn't. I remember once, a lot of people will leave because you had your gear in a metal box, right? This metal box was just as big as, step back a little bit. From right where he is to where I'm at, that's the box, and the box is this much. You have all your gears inside of it, and then every morning we had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and line up, get ready, and then grab that box, metal box, and put it over our shoulders and run the farm. Had it was a mile, I believe it's a mile and a half, and we will run with that box over our shoulders. And this is where a lot of them just gave up. Literally, they wouldn't make it. They just, I'm done.
Oh yeah.
I was one of them that I was such an adrenaline that I would throw up. Like people will throw up from just us doing that. But we were in the best shape of my life. I ended up getting abs. I mean, I was buff. If you look at me right now, I know you can see this came from the Lord, literally from the Lord. Why I say this, because I was in that boot camp, and the PT, the personal training
Right.
from that place, and I just kept doing the exercises and just keeping my health in shape. Not as much as I want to, but I still in shape. I'm almost 50 years old, but I still try to keep in shape. But this is more basic. So while I'm there, those 2 years, I didn't get one visitor visit me. Isn't that crazy? You would think your dad would come over and visit you, or friends or family. Nope. The only one that came to visit me, right, was my aunt. She was the only one that came to visit me, one of my aunts. I remember that. And she was so mad that my dad never didn't come visit me. Because to them, it was like, oh, if he goes to jail, he has to learn. Yeah, I'm not going to go visit you. I'm telling you, I'm not going to go visit you if you go to jail. And they stayed true to that until I graduated. When I graduated, my dad came. And I remember feeling, I had that feeling like, oh, my dad's here.
Right.
Because I remember when people were getting visitors, I would cry like a little kid because nobody came to see me. Because in my mind, I'm doing good. I want to do better, and I'm showing my family, by being in this program that I'm willing to do better when I get out. And nobody came to visit me. So the CEOs will come up to me, the military guys, they'll come up to me, why are you crying? I said, well, nobody comes visit me. And it impacted one of those trainers, the military trainer, impacted him so much that he was a little nicer than the others, because he felt my pain and he saw it.
Right.
He saw that nobody came to see me. So that same guy, I remember the same guy, when my dad came, he came up to us and stared at my dad like this. You could tell he wanted to tell him something because of what I told him. Nobody came to visit me. But all he did was stare at my dad, and he's like, what's the problem? And he looked at me, he said, you should be proud of this young man. He gave it his all. He could have been somewhere else. But he stayed and he finished. And he walked off. And my dad was like, what was that about? I was like, oh, that's the guy that trained me for when I was here in the program, Dad. And he's like, well, I'm glad, I just hope that you could, keep up with the program, and when you get out, I'll be there for you, etc. All right, man. He left. Now I'm getting ready to get out, and once I got out, I'm waiting for my dad to pick me up. My dad didn't come pick me up. This is crazy. My dad's cousin picks me up with his wife. And I'm like, oh, how'd you know that I got out? I said, I heard. So I figured they're letting you guys out at this place at a certain time. So I figured, let me see if you're over here. I don't want you to. I was like, what? I said, hey, man, thanks, man. So my dad's cousin picked me up with his wife, right? I get in the car. I say, hey, I want you to take me to a bus stop so I can go to Pennsylvania. I said, just take me. He goes, oh, no, man, you can stay with me. I said, no. I want to get out of here. I don't want to live here because this is where I don't want to fall back into where I was. This is where I know where the drugs is. I don't want to be here anymore. Take me out of here. Take me to a bus stop, and I'll go to where my dad is. Because I was like, why didn't he come pick me up? He's like, oh, I don't know, man. Here's his number. I call him. He didn't pick up. Anyways, I go to the bus station. He drops me off. On the way to the bus station, we get stopped. Listen, you're not going to believe this one. My dad's cousin had an ounce of weed in the car. We get stopped. The wife tries to pass me the ounce of weed. I just got out of jail.
Right.
She's trying to put it under your seat. I say, you effing crazy. I'm not, excuse my language, but that's exactly what I said. I just got out. I said, you need to put that inside your thing, something. So we get stopped. The first thing that he smells is weed. Because he's trying to, my uncle's like, you want to smoke? I said, no, I'm good. He's a pothead. I said, just take me to the bus stop, please.
Right.
We get stopped because he was speeding. The cop smells the weed. Where's the weed? Oh, boy. I get out. That's your gear. I said, yes, sir. I just got out. Here's my papers. He's looking at my paperwork. He's like, you just got out today. I said, yes, sir. He take me to the bus station. He said, you just smoked? I said, no, sir. I didn't smoke. I smoked my hands. Because that's the first thing you do when you're in jail. When they know you smoke cigarettes, right?
Yeah.
And you smoke anything, the first thing they do is they grab your hands and they do this. Or they smell your breath. But the key is your fingers, because you have that brown stain on your fingers. Right. So he grabs my hand, he goes like this. I go, I told you, I'm not, it wasn't me. He gets out, he smells weed on him, smells weed on her. He's like, I could tell there's weed in this vehicle. But you know what? Take this young man, take him where he needs to go. And you two are, he swore at these, my cousins, my dad's cousin and his wife, because he knew there was paraphernalia in the vehicle. He could smell it. And he just pretty much said, get him to the bus station so he can start a new life. That's exactly what he said. So he can start his life. And I goes, young man, he said, young man, wish you the best. I said, I'm going to Pennsylvania, sir. That's all I want to do. They give me a ride. I'm not doing anything. I could tell. I said, relax. I said, sir, I just want to go home. Relax. Get in your car. Take him to the bus station. And if I see your face, I don't want to see your face. Yelled at him. Here we're going back to the bus station. I get off. I start swearing at them because of what happened. I said, I can't believe you did this. He goes, don't tell your dad. I said, how couldn't I? What you just did. He said, you bought so much weed that I could have been back in jail.
Right.
I could have been back in jail. Anyways, long story short on that one. I go to Pennsylvania. I go to my dad's house. I stay with my dad for a couple of days. And then drama starts breaking up. Because, you know, when you get out of jail, it's not easy to get a job. So it was hard for me to get a job at that time. So my dad was like, well, then you need to get going. You know, I can't be supporting you. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I got to get going. So the Lord put a woman in my life at that time. I got a phone call. My sister had a friend. And this is amazing. I know this testimony is like, whoa.
Yeah.
But the Lord orchestrated everything up to this day, right here, right now, with Buddy. Okay? He will do it for you just like he did it for me. He will. As soon as that happened, that I was in Pennsylvania, and my dad told me I got to get going, I got a phone call from a girl that I knew when I was like 17 years old. She visited us, and she was like, hey, just touching base with you, see how you are, how you been. I heard you got out of jail. I said, yeah, I'm good. I said, I'm trying to get my life straight. I said, that's awesome. You clean? I said, yeah, I'm clean. I'm just, trying to get a job, but I can't get a job because I got a felony. So this is another thing. This is another shocker about God is of the present and of the future. You're going to understand this later on when I say this. God is of the present and of the future. Now, she calls me. I get in contact with her. Her mom says, I told her my situation, and her mom said, come live with me in New York City.
New York City.
New York City. I said to myself, New York City? Mom said to come live with you in New York City? He said, yeah, you can. They get you a job over here, make sure, you get yourself right and get you going. I said, yeah. You sure? She's like, yeah. Get a bus over here. And guess what? I got a bus, one of those transit buses that takes you up to New York City. And I told her she'll pick me up over there, and we took a bus to her apartment. So I stayed with this girl. We're kicking it. We're, relationship wise, etc. And we get into a relationship between me and her. And
God bless you.
God bless. And we get into the relationship, and I'm like, this is God, because now I'm going out with her, right? She's like, so you like me? I said, yeah, I like you. I said, hey, you want to be my boyfriend? I said, yeah. It was kind of a kiddish type of love thing type going on. And I'm like, you know what? I can do this, because this is new. This is new. But I had my baby mama. Forget my baby mama. So I'm like, I could try to get with my baby mama over there, And what should I do? It's like, I gotta reach out over here, because my daughter's now is she's about almost 3. That's crazy. She was 3 years old at the time, and I haven't spoke to them, nothing. I lost contact because my beeper that I had, MIA, I was supposed to have it when you get out of intake. They have all your stuff, but my beeper wasn't there. They take all your phone and drug, so they took it for evidence.
Right.
So I didn't have no contact at all. So I didn't know where my daughter was. So I said, you know what? The Lord made me focus on this relationship. So that was going to come later. So I focused on this relationship, and I end up, hey, would you like to marry me? So we got married in New York City. So now my life is taking off. We get married. She gets pregnant. She had my first son, Ray. And then when we moved to New York at that time, we moved to Pennsylvania with my son, Ray. And then from Pennsylvania, we moved to Texas here. And my son, Alex, was here in Texas. Sorry, this is Florida.
We're in Florida, by the way.
Sorry. I'm sorry, this is Florida. I can't do this with my brother over here. But I live in Texas. So in Texas, my son was born. You can see what the Lord did. From when I gave him my life, orchestrated into where I met my wife, that will have my 2 kids. Okay? 2 other kids. I created marriage. I wasn't married, sorry, from the first one. But I got married in this relationship. I had 2 kids. He orchestrated this whole thing now that I'm here in Texas. I own a house, okay? You would think that a drug addict, a bum, a nothing in the streets will own a house and have a beautiful family. God will only do that. He did it for me, he can do it for you. I'm in Texas. I have this house. My family ain't perfect. No family is. Right? But you can see what he did for me when I gave my life to him. This is what I wanted to share my testimony with you guys. To this day, here in Florida, he has orchestrated my life from then till now here with Buddy in this beautiful park. Just enjoying this. I would never think that I would come into Florida and enjoy something beautiful like this. I mean, ocean-wise, okay, being able to travel, okay. My education was high school, okay. I was limited. My job, it goes much deeper. It goes much deeper. So now I'm with my wife and kids, and I'm like, my daughter has been taken away from me to the point that I don't know where she is. I don't know where she is. So,
Oh, brother, hang on. Something happened with mine. Okay.
oh, difficulties.
I can still see you. I think it's still rolling. We should be good.
Sorry about that. So my daughter in the marriage was taken away from me to the point that I don't know where she is anymore. Like, I don't know where she is. Like, so I started praying about this, about finding my daughter and being in her life, because since I met my wife, we've been looking for her. She's helped me look for her. All of a sudden, my wife says, "I found her." I remember this day like it was yesterday. "I found her, babe." "What do you mean you found who?" "Your daughter. Look, you can answer her through here. She friended me." I said, what? I grabbed the phone, I remember, and I remember texting her, hey, Isabel, how are you? And I'm just waiting for her answer.
Right.
And she went to one of those race cart events, and she posted something there, and we were able to post on it because they wouldn't let me be a friend her.
Okay.
Right? So they friend my wife because they didn't know my wife. So she friended my wife. So now she could see this post of her being in this cart with her boyfriend, etc. So I was able to answer her a reply, send her a message, just a hi, because that's all I could say. I couldn't say much. I couldn't say, "Hey, it's your dad."
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I wasn't in her life, and that hurt me. I couldn't even go there. And I remember writing that, and then I had to take it away because I didn't want her to lash out on me. So I remember saying, "Hey, how are you? Hope all is well." And then she texts me back. She goes, "Is this Ray?" I go, "Yeah, it's Ray." "My dad, Ray? My biological dad, Ray?" I said, yeah, it's me. And listen, from that point on, the Lord orchestrated me to come to Florida where she was living. That's why I'm here. Okay, this is why I'm here. Because my daughter is not with us anymore. She passed. She had an accident. A drunk driver crashed her, and she was killed instantly from the accident.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. So I come here, just one of those, just to get away and just free your mind. And just thank the Lord. Things happen for a reason. I mean, I asked the Lord myself, why did you take her? And not me. I wanted to know her more. But it's God's plan. To this day, I still thank the Lord. I'm not angry at him. I was. Don't get me wrong, I was. I was there again. I wanted to lash out because just when I made contact with my daughter, the way I made contact with her, I knew it was going to be a beautiful, beautiful encounter. But her life was taken. But before all this, so I could meet my daughter, like I said, I didn't have an education. My education was limited to high school. And I remember wanting to see my daughter and spend time with her, and I got to. But the way it happened, it was God Himself who did it. And this is how it went. I applied for a federal job, and this federal job was FEMA. Now you just can't get into FEMA unless you have a good background education, etc. Okay, so I applied, and I left it in God's hands. I kid you not. Within a year or two, I remember somebody telling me, "Oh man, it's gonna take about a year or two for them to even give you a buzz." So I remember waiting for that moment, and I remember them calling me and saying, "Hey, you're hired. We need you to go through these programs. You need to pass these tests." And I'm like, "What test?" He goes, "Oh, you'll see when you come to it. You just come in. We'll get you going. Get you a badge, etc." And I'm like, "FEMA? Yeah. You want a job? Yes or no?" "Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Where do I need to go?" So I go into this program. Listen to me. When God takes over your life, the present and the future, He is able to do it. Listen to me. When I went to this FEMA program that I knew nothing about and nothing in regards to whatever I was getting myself into, which was it's called Weather Disaster Program. That you go out there and you have to do estimates on the damages of homes. Okay, construction of the damages and to pay out, so the government could pay and help these people that had, disaster damages from hurricanes, earthquakes, whatever. So I'm in this program. I know nothing about it. Guess what I'm doing? I am in these. These are all tests that I'm taking that I knew nothing about. And guess what I did? The majority of whatever I said yes to and answer to, I didn't knew nothing about. But God was in control.
Right.
And guess who passed? People were telling me, how in the world did you pass? Not many people will make it. Just like when I was in jail, they said, not too many people passed and you made it, man. God was there for me when I was doing those tests because there was a reason why. There was a purpose. As soon as I got my badge that I was a FEMA, I started traveling. Mind you, for FEMA, you have to have a credit of 5,000 or more because per diem, they pay for all your flights. You got to pay for it, and then they'll give you your money back at the end of the week with whatever their pay from you. You just have to submit everything that you have with a credit card, and I didn't have a credit card. So how did that work? My mother-in-law had filed a credit card, and she gave me her credit card, and I ran with her credit card. So I worked these months, and then all of a sudden I ended up going to certain places to get trained in Texas. And then they said, you're going to Florida. So who's in Florida? My daughter.
Wow.
So I told her, hey, I'm going to Florida. My job, my new job. Where you work? Oh, I work for FEMA. Wow, no way. Yeah, I would love to see you, blah, blah, blah. So they made it not easy for her to come see me, but we got it done. Our family, they were not... I get it. My lifestyle was not what they wanted for their daughter, and I understood the way they treated me because of it. I understood that. But once I was clean, they should have opened up to me, but they didn't. They just kept it as is. So I had something for them that I just didn't like them. They didn't like me still. And so we made sure that we made contact without them being involved. So I ended up working in Florida. I worked in Florida for 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks that I was there, we were orchestrating where to see each other. And I remember that day like it was yesterday.
All right.
She was 17 years old. And being able to see I saw my daughter only when she was 1.
Right.
And I see her when she's 17 years old. And when I remember that day, it was at Zaxby's.
Okay.
We met there. Her name was Isabel Madeline. That was her name. And we met at Zaxby's. She was working there at Zaxby's. And we embraced. I told her I was just sobbing and told her I'm so sorry I didn't look for you. I couldn't. I just explained to her. She was like, what do you mean? I was like, well, I had to explain to her that, family made it hard for me to be in her life because she was growing up and I get it. I didn't want to, my lifestyle was messed up, so I didn't want her to know my lifestyle. I wanted to know when I'm clean and past my lifestyle,
right.
Leave my past and be in my life now to know me now, who I am now. Now that was God that did that for me. He gave me that job so I could come over here and spend time with my daughter before her last day. He did that for me, and I thank him for that. Because I'm fortunate, 2019, December 29, 2019, she passed. And I've been coming up here to Florida since. But not to come over here and sob for what happened to my daughter, but doing his work. Because I come up here and I meet people like Buddy, and I share my testimony and that God is good. And once you call upon him, he takes over.